Today, we're diving into some exciting news about the upcoming Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Specifically, we'll be focusing on its new chip, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. Let's get into it. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is set to be one of the most anticipated smartphones of early next year. What makes this phone particularly interesting is the chipset it's expected to feature, the yet-to-be-announced Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. This new processor will likely be unveiled at this October's Snapdragon Summit, and it's designed specifically for flagship Android phones. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Qualcomm seems to be shifting its focus with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. Instead of pushing for raw CPU performance, they are emphasizing energy efficiency, particularly in the GPU department. According to a tweet from a well-known leaker, internal testing data shows that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 SoC, produced by TSMC using its 2nd Gen 3 process node, is optimized for incredible performance by the Adreno 750 GPU. The leaker claims that the GPU's peak performance is similar to the powerful Dimensity 9300 AP made by MediaTek, but at half the power consumption. That's a huge leap in efficiency. So what does this mean for the Galaxy S25 Ultra? Well, this efficient GPU should allow the phone to run cooler and deliver significantly improved battery life, which is always a plus. But there's a catch. While the GPU is getting a lot of love, the performance figures for the custom Oryon CPU cores and the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 show only a single-digit performance increase compared to the current Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. If you're someone who cares deeply about CPU performance, you might want to heed the advice from the leaker. If you care about CPU performance, please skip this generation and wait for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. In other words, for those of you who are power users looking for the absolute best in CPU performance, the Galaxy S25 Ultra might not meet your expectations. You might want to wait and see what the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 expected in 2025 has to offer. However, for most users, the improved energy efficiency of the GPU on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 is fantastic news. Not only should it keep the Galaxy S25 Ultra running cooler, but it should also help extend battery life, making it a more practical choice for everyday use. The transition from a 4-in Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 built by Samsung Foundry to a 3-in Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 manufactured by TSMC should deliver energy consumption improvements on its own. But with the added optimizations that make the Adreno 750 GPU so efficient, we're looking at a phone that promises to be a beast in terms of battery endurance and thermal management. Since we're already talking about future chipsets, let's briefly mention the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, with its Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, promises a major improvement in GPU energy efficiency, leading to cooler operation and longer battery life. However, if you're looking for significant CPU performance gains, you might want to wait for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. That's it for today. What are your thoughts on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 focusing on GPU energy efficiency over CPU performance? Do you think it's a good trade-off? Let me know in the comments section. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. In just a few months' time, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will succeed the iPhone 15 Pro Max and take on the mantle as the best and most advanced iPhone out there. Although there's plenty of time until September and a lot can change, we seem to know a lot about the upcoming top iPhone model based on rumors and leaks. How is the iPhone 16 Pro Max shaping up against its predecessor? What's changing and what's staying the same? Let's see how the iPhone 16 Pro Max shapes up against the current best iPhone Apple has in its roster. First up, let's talk about design and size. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will inherit the same design language as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, employing the same titanium frame with a completely flat screen. The major difference between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro Max will be size. The upcoming iPhone screen will grow to 6.9 inches across, a significant bump over the iPhone 15 Pro Max's 6.7-inch display. To achieve this, they're likely shrinking the bezels down even further and making the phone itself slightly larger overall. As per the rumors, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will measure 163mm in height and 77.58mm in width versus 159.9mm and 76.7mm for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, respectively. A small but notable change, all things considered. The iPhone 15 Pro Max debuted with an action button instead of a mute switch and a USB Type-C port at the bottom, so those two features will be carrying over to the newer model as well. However, the iPhone 16 series will be scoring another button, dubbed the Capture button. Colors-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro Max was available in 4 understated and titanium-inspired colors. We've heard that Apple might use another titanium processing technique that will make the iPhone 16 Pro Max glossier and also more capable of retaining colors. Moving on to display differences. As mentioned, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come along with a significantly larger display, measuring at 6.9 inches across. Aside from the size, when you don't clearly expect any other major changes, we're certainly getting a liquid Retina XDR display with an OLED panel delivering superb colors, contrast, and exceptional maximum brightness. The screen will support 120Hz ProMotion refresh rate, making scrolling through the interface and on-screen content way smoother. Now let's delve into performance and software. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will feature a second-generation 3nm chip, possibly dubbed Apple A18 Pro. As one can imagine, we expect that the Apple A18 Pro will have better performance than the Apple A17 Pro. Due to the heavily rumored focus on AI for both iOS and the iPhone 16 range, we expect that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come with a much improved neural engine to take care of all the generative AI features. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will also be a first to debut iOS 18 with a focus on artificial intelligence features. The new iPhone 16 Pro Max will also support faster Wi-Fi 7 and a more power-efficient 5G modem, keeping you future-proofed on the connectivity front. Let's talk about the camera. As the iPhone 15 Pro Max delivers a host of important camera features, chief among which is the new 120mm telephoto lens, the iPhone 16 Pro Max could finally address one of the forgotten cameras that hasn't recently scored any significant overhauls, the ultra-wide. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes that Apple will be introducing a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. When it comes to audio quality, iPhone Pro Max devices are always up there with the best, setting the benchmarks for all other manufacturers to measure up against. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will be no exception. The same generally applies to haptics too. iPhones are arguably the best devices when it comes to haptic feedback, giving us precise and accurate vibrations that are sufficiently strong yet not overpowering. Lastly, battery life and charging. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will reportedly feature a much larger 4,676 mAh battery compared to the 4,422 mAh battery in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Charging-wise, we haven't heard anything about a potential charging speed increase, but we hope to see one on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So far, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is shaping up to be a logical improvement to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, delivering key upgrades in important areas like screen size, performance, AI, and battery life. Thus far, we haven't heard anything particular about a potential price increase, so it's safe to assume that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will start at $1,199 for the 256GB version. Of course, if there's an iPhone 15 Pro Max in your pocket, then you'll probably have few reasons to upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Stay tuned for more updates on the iPhone 16 Pro Max as we get closer to its release date. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest tech news and reviews. Thanks for watching. Until next time.